In the process of a home remodel, we discovered some termite damage, and we had to finish the house up, so I only treated the small area where we found the termite damage at. And here's the real problem. When they're inside your house and they're eating the wood, of course, they do still have to come back outside and get into the ground. Other people have a better explanation as to why they need to do that, but what you can do is you can treat the ground outside your house with certain chemicals, and I'll cover the chemical part later, which chemicals I'm using and how I do it. But I dug a little trench here and poured the chemicals in. But what happened is the ground, the dirt outside my house is touching the wood. If this was all concrete here, or if this was cleared out deeper where they wouldn't have access to the ground, you would at least see their path, but we can't even see their path here because the wood at this basement window is touching the ground. So they come back out, they get what they need from outside, and then they come back in, they start digging in your house and deteriorating your wood. So anyway, I treated this last fall, but now it's summertime and I'm going to treat around the whole house. But basically you'll dig a trench around the perimeter of your house. It's supposed to be a 6-inch deep trench, but that's about what I've dug here, and a 10-foot length at a time, and you'll use 4 gallons of water to fill in this trench with the appropriate chemicals in it. And this is a chemical that the termites don't know they're in, and then they bring it back to the other termites and it kills them off if everything's working correctly. But this next segment I'll tell you how I mix the chemicals, and I'll show you pouring this into the trench. So here's my 5-gallon bucket that I've cleaned out. Got all the hydraulic fluid out of it, cleaned up real good, soap and water, so there's no contaminants inside this bucket. Then I took a old gallon milk jug and I poured 4 gallons in there, a gallon at a time, and I marked where the 4 gallons was down here to make sure I'm getting the right proportions. And this is the chemical I'm using, Taurus SC. I don't recall the name brand for this, but this is the patent's off of the name brand now, and Taurus SC is the generic for it, so it's a lot less expensive. I'll get up close there in case you want to see what the chemicals actually are. But you'll put 1.6 ounces of this per gallon, and there is a little measuring cup on this, to do 0.8 ounces at a time, so you'd mix up half a gallon at a time there. That takes a little too long for what I'm doing, so I've got my cup out here that measures, and so I'll put 6.4 ounces of Taurus SC in my 4 gallons, and we'll pour it into that trench, and I'll kind of show you how that goes here next. I don't know if I told you the right number earlier. I think my math was wrong when I gave you the number earlier. It's in 4 gallons, you'll have 6.4 ounces. I may have said 6.6. Doesn't matter. I've got like 6.6 in this. I over poured this one by a little bit. Of course, it's tilting back, so probably is about 6.4. But anyway, I shook the bottle up too. It doesn't say whether it's a solution or suspension, but you'll see when I mix it in this water, it takes a little bit to mix up. So I'm assuming this might be a suspension. So I shook the bottle a little bit before I poured out my correct dose, if you want to call it a dose. And now I'm rinsing this cup out to make sure I get every little bit back out of it. And plus I'm stirring it up, of course, when I'm mixing it. As I carry it over to my trench, it's going to mix up some too. It looks pretty even right now. So I'm fixing to pour this into the trench now. And if it's not completely even on bottom, which it's not going to be unless you want to spend 6 hours digging each 10-foot trench, the water's going to run from one direction to the other and stop in spots. So you won't pour all 4 gallons at once. You kind of pour it and see where it's draining to, and then you might dam up a little part so it soaks in as evenly as possible. I'm going to go ahead and pour some, and I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll show you kind of how I dam things up when it's running from one section to another here. So as I poured this in, it was kind of running into a void here, so I went ahead and I packed it in, and then you can see everything's kind of stopped flowing in one direction or another, and it'll give it time to soak in here. But I plug that in, and then I'll make sure this area does get soaked, and I'll make sure the plug is clogged. And just as you see the solution kind of running into one spot or another, this section here, this is a high spot and it's not soaking in, so I'll probably dam up a little here or both places, and I'll re-pour a little bit in there. And as I've got the dam in the right places, then I'll top it off, let it soak in. The idea is it's supposed to soak into this ground, so as these termites go through it, they'll get baited with the chemical and it'll kill off the population. So I've got everything dammed off kind of like how I like it, to let everything soak in as evenly as possible. And then even after I dam it up, I pour some on top of that area that I just dammed. If you pour too much too fast, it's going to wash it back out, and you're going to have to push some soil back into the trench. You know, you just kick some back in there with your foot and it'll be okay. And just make sure you re-pour over that area, and you might have to dump a little more in or whatever. You'll get a feel for it after a trench or two. And then you work your way around the entire perimeter of the house, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this is useful for you. The chemicals are fairly expensive, but it'll be $300, let's say, instead of $1,200, and Orkin won't have to come back every month or whatever. This is supposed to last a good long time. I'll look up what that number is. It seems like it's 10 years, but I'll look it up and find that out. Keep your dog out of it too, so he doesn't drink this stuff. I'm sure that'll poison him somehow. Please subscribe to my videos. Even if it's a pity subscription, I'll take it, because I need subscribers. I'm going to have my hours anytime soon, and I need the subscribers in order to be monetized, to encourage me to keep making these videos, to help save you guys a little time and effort when you have to tackle these jobs yourself.